Muy buenos días, tardes, noches, mis queridos fortunados y fortunatas. Vamos a ver cómo seguimos con la historia de Newton, que no sé a estas alturas qué es lo que tiene que averiguar. Bueno, pero antes.
Denle like a este video, comenten, suscríbanse a mi canal, compártanlo, activen la campanita de notificaciones. Si se sienten millonarios, pueden hacerme llegar alguna ayudita mediante los links de Mercado Pago y cafecito que hay en la descripción del video. Y si quieren contar con contenido exclusivo, pueden hacerse miembros de mi canal.
Una vez dadas estas recomendaciones tan útiles para la vida, sigamos con el juego. Bueno, teníamos lo de los hombres de las botas negras. ¿Qué tal si volvemos al gremio de los comerciantes y preguntamos por eso al portero?
Mind if I ask some more questions? As long as they're not about the incident. Be my guest.
Bien.
I hear up at the Unseen University they talk about dead men's pointy boots.
Yes, I've heard of that.
Really?
Yes, they ask no questions about how a wizard's shoes were emptied.
Operate the same policy here, do you?
What? Hey, what are you implying?
Well, you know, here you are, stuck on the door. Then a merchant gets killed, leaving a vacancy in the hierarchy.
I did not kill Gaming.
But there aren't any witnesses to that, are there?
There aren't any witnesses at all. He was alone in the guild house when...
Thanks for the information.
Wait. Don't tell anyone I said anything. They'll lynch me.
I'll keep quiet if you tell me everything you know.
No, I've already said too much.
Well, it was good while it lasted. Now all I had to find out was how Gaiman had been killed. And I had a feeling I wasn't going to learn that here.
Bueno, pero gracias por el dato.
Well, goodbye for now.
Bien, entonces ya... no.
Who would say I'd like to see this time?
Can I see the count?
I am not in a position to know how good your vision is, but you may see the count, which I believe is what Sir actually meant in Sir's untutored way.
Still here, I see.
In a sense.
Bueno.
Does dead men's pointy boots mean anything to you?
They use it at the Unseen University, do they not?
So I understand.
It is accurate. The wizards do have pointy boots. It's traditional.
I think it has some other meaning.
That would explain why I have heard it mentioned in the guilds. Their boots are seldom pointy.
According to the gatekeeper at the Merchants Guild, nobody witnessed Gaiman's stabbing.
Gaiman wasn't stabbed.
Really? How did he die?
He was strangled.
Thanks.
I didn't see that one coming.
Muy bien. ¿Y si le preguntamos por otra?
Wizards can see you, right?
Indeed.
So they know when they're going to die.
That is also true.
So the reader of esoteric occultism must have known he was about to be murdered.
Knowing when you are going to die and knowing how are two different things.
Bien. Pero bueno, entonces nos vamos de acá. Chao, chao.
Well, goodbye. I'm sure we'll meet again.
Oh, you can be certain of it.
Ta. Nos vamos y... se autopolizaron. ¿No tendremos que ir ahí para preguntarle a la novia?
Just thought we could have a little chat. Oh, all right then. Make it quick. I found out about the dead merchant. His name was Gaiman, and he was strangled.
How did you find that out?
I was told by the Tooth Fairy.
Really? Clever of you to track her down.
Anybody ever told you you're credulous, Snobby?
All right, I know.
I've got some special ointment for it.
Guau. Ni nos despedimos de este. Para. Ahora me estoy acordando del papagayo octarino, que había algo que pudiera buscar. Vamos. Ajá. Ah. No, yo quería agarrarlo nomás al perfume. No sé de qué me va a servir después, pero buah. Vámonos. Vámonos. Voy a ver si Ilsa está acá. Buah, a ver, uy. A ver, pero no debe ser, no podré irme por acá para algún lado. No, pero veo que Ilsa no está, así que bueno, nos vamos. A ver, un momento. Ah. A ver.
Definitely the same scent as my killer, which meant whoever it was made it into the palace concealed in a wine barrel.
Buah.
Why did that bring to mind the phrase, you wait, time passes, and
Torín se
sits down and
sienta.
starts singing about gold.
Tonel de vino. Bueno, pero lo bueno es que ya aprendí a usar lo de los colores. Bueno, entonces este lo dejamos acá. Con que entró en un tonel de vino. Ajá. Volvamos a ser humano. Entonces tenemos que ir al Café Ankh. Pero antes vamos a meternos acá. A ver si en una de esas está Ilsa acá. No está Samael. Pobre Samael, hay menos vida que el sol en el bar. Bueno, vamos a la bodega. Bueno, ahora sí calculo que me va a dar motivos para... Bien, la palanqueta.
I had a long wait, but it paid off.
Muy bien, ahora ¿qué haremos? Bueno, a ver, algo para agarrar acá.
There really wasn't anything useful I could do with the barrels. The wine barrels had allowed me to break into the
Vale, sí,
palace.
ya lo sabíamos.
It didn't speak too highly of the palace's security, but I wasn't complaining.
Ahora las cajas.
The storeroom was filled with boxes of food and supplies.
Ok.
I guess even the patrician had to eat every now and then. I couldn't think of anything useful to do with the boxes.
Bueno, vamos.
Locked. The door was locked. I thought I could make out voices, but I couldn't hear what they were saying.
Tendré que ir por acá, por acá.
I could hear a conversation on the other side of the door, but I couldn't quite make out what was being said.
A ver. Claro, los lobos tienen más oído, por lo que creo que le dijo el perro. A ver.
dramatically improved. I could recognize one of the voices as Commander Vimes. The other voice had the calculating tones of Lord Vetinari, the patrician of Ankh-Morpork.
Are you any closer to a solution for our mutual problem?
No, sir. I've been occupied.
Indeed. And what could occupy you?
There was a string of copycat killings. I've been trying to solve them.
And have you?
No. My lead suspect was killed.
That is very unfortunate.
It certainly was for Luton.
So there has been no progress in determining who killed Cypher.
Not as such.
I have been given to understand that this was precisely the situation you were well equipped to handle.
I will solve this case, sir. You can count on me.
Do you recall what I said the city reminds me of?
You said it reminds you of a clock, sir.
Indeed. Big wheels and little wheels, all turning at different speeds to keep the machine working. That, after all, is the most important thing. The machine keeps going.
You've told me this before.
Do you know why it keeps working?
Because you want it to keep working?
I'm flattered that you think I have such importance. But no, it keeps running because the people believe it will keep running. Faith is a powerful force.
There is a point to this, sir?
I always have a point. Sometimes it's sharper than others.
I'm sorry. Continue.
One of my clerks has been found face down in a vat of wine, and that makes it appear as if the administration has lost control.
And the administration is me, right?
We are all the administration. You do the work, and I take both the credit and the blame. Provided I do not take the blame, I am content. I trust I make myself clear.
Perfectly.
Suddenly I could smell blood. It filled up my senses like a night in a forest. Except a night in a forest didn't make me want to tear someone's throat out. I didn't know whether the guard had cut himself or if I was just developing a healthy bloodlust, like any young werewolf. But I couldn't control myself. The next thing I knew, I was in my office. I had no idea how I got there, how I got my coat out of the palace, or where I got the traffic cone from. It had been that sort of night. I was sitting at my desk, thinking over the case, when there was a knock at the door.
I understand you've been a busy boy, Luton.
It's a busy life when you're a private investigator. Plus, you get to see interesting foreign places and learn a trade.
There was a commotion at the palace last night. Perhaps you know about it?
What goes on at the palace has nothing to do with me.
Indeed it is not. And if for some reason you did take an interest in the palace, I'm sure you would not be so foolish as to be caught breaking into the palace.
Of course not. Think I'm suicidal?
Strange you should say that. I heard you'd been killed.
I expect you hear a lot of things that aren't true. I bet someone has to explain them to you using very small words.
The thing is, the intruder at the palace appears to have been a werewolf.
There's a lot of that around this time of year, I understand. Must be the moon.
I paid my respects to your grave.
Oh, that was nice of you.
It was empty.
Oh, you know how it is. I get claustrophobic in narrow spaces.
So, do werewolves, perhaps?
I wouldn't know about that.
Remember when I said how disappointed I was that I couldn't take you out for free?
Oh, that was a very touching sentiment.
Well, Lord Vetinari has generously offered to pay for the inhumation of last night's intruder.
He has a big heart.
¿Qué músculo tiene Remora Serachi?
Find it.
Was there a point to your visit?
I was just passing through. Thought you might benefit from my advice.
How generous of you.
Well, I'll be on my way.
The door's behind you. I can explain how to use it if you want.
Watch your steps, Lieutenant. I will be.
Bien, ahora me pregunto qué tengo que hacer. Voy a habitaciones de Horst. ¿Estará Horst?
Horst still wasn't back at his
De
quarters.
acuerdo.
I was beginning to wonder if he was coming back at all.
Al mausoleo hace rato que no voy. ¿No le pusieron todavía la cosa al mausoleo? Digo, al sarcófago de la troll esta. Y hablando de eso, ¿qué pasó con Terma, Zafiro y todo eso? Bueno, parece que no puedo... No hay nada para fijarse acá. Saturnale estará cerrado. Puente Maudín. Tejado sobresalir y Pedre. Ah, pero no me sale para hablar con la gárgola, ya no habla más. Buah. Habrá que irnos. Mansión von Uberlado. Alcantarillado, ¿no tenía que ser el puente Maudín? ¿No me habré olvidado de algo? Ah, bueno, por lo menos ya sacaron el auto de acá. No. Río Ankh, que no me voy a meter. No hay nada para fijarse acá. Bueno, vamos. Templo de los dioses menores, ¿no habrá alguien ahí? No se ve nada. Vamos acá. No se ve a nadie, así que nos vamos. ¿En qué otro lugar? Taller de Rodan. ¿Estará Rodan ahí? No. A irnos. ¿Verdad? ¿Qué pasa con Rodan? Gremio de comerciantes.
Mind if I ask some more questions?
As long as they're not about the incident. Be my guest.
A ver.
Do you know anything about Cypher's murder?
I can't help you there.
¿De acuerdo?
Well, it seems that Gaiman was strangled right here in the Merchants Guild.
How did you find that out?
A little anthropomorphic personification told me. Okay, so it was risky flaunting my discovery over such an easily offended guild. But how often did you get to consult death on a murder investigation? I'd earned the right to gloat.
Bueno, entonces... vamos acá, nos vamos... al colgante. Ah, no están los guardias acá. Ah, le podría haber preguntado cosas. No importa. El amuleto.
Do either of you recognize this? Is of much familiarness. From where? Near Sort being somewhere near. Ah, yesness. Seal on temple in Alkali. It's the seal on the doors of a temple?
May I see?
Sure. Why not?
Ah, yes, I recognize that. That's from the temple with the intricate door locking mechanism, isn't it? Quite a marvel of technology for the era it was built, those doors. I was very impressed with them. Now, what was the name of the god it was dedicated to? I can't quite remember.
I know.
I am sure you do, but give me a moment and it'll come to me.
I think he meant it's from the temple of Anu Anu.
Ah, yes. I remember. The temple of Anu Anu at Al-Khalid. A lovely building.
And this is a replica of the seal. Of much sureness. Replica of most exactitude. That might be helpful to know. Thanks.
Bueno, me rajo de acá. Bueno, un momento, tengo que ver qué te he escrito. Ah, templo de Nuanu, en Alcali. Tendré que ir al templo, a ver. Este es el templo. Anual. Bien.
I understand there's a temple of Anu at Alkali.
Indeed, one of the finest temples on the disc.
Then why are you here? Why not worship in your own temple in Alkali?
Revengealism.
What's that?
It's where you go out into the community to attempt to convert people to your faith by threatening that something terrible will happen to them if they don't.
Mooncalf wasn't telling me something, but I didn't know what. Logical, I suppose, but unsatisfying.
Bueno. Bueno, este nos sabrá algo de coste de...
Have you heard of the temple of Anu at Alkali?
So, interested in comparative religion, are we, Luton? Or perhaps you're an archaeologist?
Given their propensity to smash open sacred monuments, loot them of everything of value, and generally desecrate sacred places everywhere, archaeologists are about as popular with priests as atheists. Mind you, in a world where gods are bad-tempered and damn good shots with a lightning bolt, nobody likes an atheist either.
Bueno, la cosa es ahora a dónde tenemos que ir, si casi en ningún lado papagayo octarino se de polizar alcantarillado, tendré que ir, ¿no? Tercer, no tampoco, el pacho de Newton, habrá alguien, no creo, pero vamos. No hay nada, así que vámonos. Palacio del Sala Nueva. Bien, ahora podemos entrar acá, entonces. Vamos acá.
For a brief moment, I considered actually making the beds. Fortunately, good sense prevailed. I guess it was my job to make the beds. Watch how fast I go.
A ver. Pizarra.
I tried to write on the octarine board with the chalk, but I couldn't see what I was writing. The chalk marks were invisible to my eyes.
Esto parece un trabajo para... Globoman.
The dorm was full of the jangling sense of the students, but the most surprising thing was the octarine board. As a wolf, I smelt the words on the board. The chalk marks showed up as sparkling traces against the odorless board. It seemed to be a list of subjects the young apprentices were studying. Occult perils of lace-making, basic myth and monsters, principles of thalmic imponderability, and temples of the Great Nev.
Wow.
Under the list of subjects were the words, "You must read a chapter on each before the next lecture."
Bien. Pero tenemos que hacer algo más.
The octarine board appeared blank to my eyes, but I had a feeling there was something written on it I couldn't see. A few sticks of chalk, a type of chalk made from octarine carbonate, were resting on the top of the board.
Para.
I altered one of the subjects on the board, switching the Great Nev for Alkali. Now all I had to do was see if anyone took the bait.
Bien, hay algo que podemos hacer acá, a ver.
The only interesting thing I could find in the unlocker was some books. Given the smell of the unlocker, I was grateful it was locked.
Ya.
Unlike the other unlockers, this one seemed to be levitating a few inches above the ground. Probably one of the students' cantrips that hadn't worn off yet.
Ya.
As for the unlocker's contents, the less of them, the better.
A ver. Ajá.
What are you doing here?
The name's Luton. I'm working for Mrs. Foames.
You're the new bed maker, eh? Well, you can't come any further than this, Luton. Wizards only in the library. Yeah.
Wizards only.
Well, wizards, apprentices, and things.
Are you a porter?
No, I'm a Bledlow. And there's a difference, all right?
Bueno, hablemos con el portero.
What's a Bledlow?
We look after the students,
Look after them.
just like the watch looks after the city.
You throw your weight around and beat them senseless when they do something wrong.
That's about the size of it, yeah. You don't mess with the lobsters.
Lobsters?
Just a nickname we've picked up over the years.
Why?
If you see us get our hands on a student, you'll understand.
You make it sound like you're hunting them down.
Of course, all students are guilty of everything.
Where are all the students?
They're off playing Unseen University Challenge against the students from the Assassin's Guild.
What does that involve?
I don't know. Given the way most sports are conducted round here, it probably involves a very careful inspection of half the pubs in Ankh-Morpork.
What makes you say that?
Heard of the City and Guilds?
No.
When the guilds started setting up their own colleges, there was a lot of rivalry between the various students.
Rivalry?
Well, the university students used to be ambushed by gangs from the guilds, really.
Used to be.
Well, given the faculty's relaxed attitude to sudden death, most of the staff preferred dead students on account of them being easier to teach. But I gather the guilds decided that enough was enough because all the bodies around the place made it very hard to open doors.
So what did they do?
They founded the City and Guilds match. I think the idea was to carry a football from the outskirts of the Shades to the Tower of Art, goals being scored by kicking the ball through the door of certain landmarks.
What sort of landmarks?
The sort with names like the Mended Drum, the Bunch of Grapes. The scoring team was bought drinks by the other teams, you see. And after a few years, the Arch-Chancellor ruled that only one goal could be scored in each pub since the match had for 3 years running. It had gone on for a month. Yeah.
What's this got to do with Unseen University Challenge?
Well, the university tends to leave the City and Guilds match to the guilds. They prefer a more cerebral challenge.
Such as going straight to the pub, not passing go, and not bothering to come back.
That'd be my guess, yes.
So they're not coming back?
Well, they'll be back. They need to come to the library to get their course books.
Bien, a ver.
Have you heard of the Temple of Anu Anu at Al-Khali?
I'm just a Bledlow, Luton. I don't know anything about that.
Bueno. Ah, a ver si dice algo.
Have you heard the expression, dead men's pointy boots?
Of course.
What does it mean?
Well, towards the upper levels of magic, where the number of positions get few and far between, wizards advance primarily by the untimely death of their bosses.
And the pointy boots?
Well, the point is, no questions are asked as to the emptying of those pointy boots.
Raro. Ajá.
I hear the reader of esoteric occultism was murdered.
Yep. Old Mathan was so full of poison, even the worms wouldn't touch him.
He was poisoned.
That's right. Right here in the Widdershins wing of the university.
You don't sound concerned.
I just keep an eye on the students. The wizards can do what they like to each other.
Do you know anything about Cypher's murder?
It's not me place to discuss murders, Luton.
A ver.
Do you know anything about the counterweight killings?
It's not me place to discuss murders, Luton.
Bueno,
Do you know anything about some kind of beast stalking the streets?
No, I don't know anything about that.
a ver. Bueno, creo que no hay nada más de lo que le podemos preguntar. De la espada de oro no le podemos preguntar. La foto de... Ah, no, ya le pregunté de esto. Bien. Entonces nos vamos. No, para. El inventario. No le podré preguntar algo sobre el inventario. Ajá.
Does this mean anything to you?
I'm just a Bledlow, Luton. I don't know anything about that.
Well, I'd better leave you to it. I had a feeling I wasn't going to get away with stealing the book.
Ah, para, si es un libro sobre templos.
The pendant's design matched the one in the book for the seal of the temple of Anu at Al-Kali.
Ah,
The temple was famed for its intricate door mechanism, and the book described how to manipulate the seal to open the temple doors. I used the same method on the pendant, and it opened with a faint click. Inside was a small piece of paper with names on it. One name leapt out at me. Therma.
oh, terma.
I decided to keep the list to myself.
Uy. Bien. Al fin volvió a aparecer terma, pero ¿qué tiene que ver un natural con un templo? Bueno, gente, por hoy lo vamos a dejar ahí. Yo que hoy me estaba de preguntar por qué terma no estaba, bueno, volvió a aparecer, pero asociada a templos. Pero bueno, ya quedará para próximos videos ver qué tiene que ver una cosa con la otra. Bueno, mis queridos fortunatos y fortuneros, nos estamos viendo más tarde. Adiós.